Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. Alrighty, guys, we're going to kick it off here talking about yesterday's big day. All right, so there were two times, the last two times that this happened. We're going to just come over here. We're going to point out some scenarios in today's video. We got a bullish, we got a bearish. Let's talk about them. All right, so this is on the daily time frame. We're going to review the weekly time frame right after this, okay? Over here, guys, you had a 12% up day over here on the NASDAQ, and then within 3 trading sessions, you were right back down to those lows. So that was over here, 10/13/08, okay, October 13th, 2008, during that crash. The other time this happened was right over here, all right? So right over here, you had a 16.8% day over here. And then again, within 3 trading sessions, you didn't come back down to the lows, but you got pretty darn close. You gave back most of that move there, minus 18% from the top. All right, so the vast majority of that move was given back. Now, that brings us to today. All right, today, we are all the way up here. I know, crazy. Okay, absolutely crazy. But we are right here. All right. And how are we looking, guys? Well, you know, it looks pretty similar to both those days over there. We did end up coming down the next day, closed down 4%. I'm not going to argue that this, you know, is a bearish look to you. It's not. Okay, let's be completely real. It's not. You had the inside day. You printed a hammer candlestick. If you print 2 more inside days and then push up, you know, there's your bullish reversal setup right there. But I don't think it's something that's just going to push up over here. I did mention in yesterday's video that I thought if we ended up pulling back here, that is the move that is going to crush options premiums after they absolutely pumped over here. That is, you know, if you're an options trader, if you want to put on some long swings, that is going to be your opportunity. All right. And you know, that can still be the case, but I'm just going to let you guys know. That is what happened the last 2 times this happened over here on the NASDAQ. And, you know, who are we to say that it's likely not going to happen the 3rd time? All right. So, you know, odds are that, you know, well, I'm not going to say odds are it happens because we don't have something, you know, across the board. I'm going to go over the look we got. So I'm not going to say odds are that we come back down to the lows, but I'll definitely, you know, say we got to be open to that. It's definitely on the table. And I think it really does come down to what we talked about on Monday, which is it comes down to the freaking weekly close. Are we going to end up closing out with a bullish bar after gapping down here? Is it going to be like this bad boy over here? Is it going to be like this bad boy over here? Oh, this bad guy and that good guy. Okay. Is it going to be like those times? We have absolutely no idea, but I will point out over here, COVID. All right. So this was the analog over here for us. This right here coming into the week. This is what we discussed in the weekly update. All right, where during the COVID 2020 crash, February into March, you did end up having a 10% rally, 10.8% rally from the bottom there from the previous week. All right, and then I'm not going to go to the daily chart because it's going to reset where we are right here. But then once you got that bounce, you did end up into the end of the week selling, and you only closed out up 1% to then tank down to new lows the following week. And from that high, you went an additional 24% low over here on QQQ. I am not saying that's going to happen over here, but as of right now, we got a bullish bar off of heavy volume with the weekly RSI oversold. If this thing closes out like this or closes out up towards the highs, then I think we're probably going to continue higher the following week. I think we probably are not going to come back to these lows right away. Now, here's the thing. During that COVID crash over here, the 2020 crash, you had that happen in the last 2 trading sessions of the week. You end up getting slammed back down. We could just come over. We will come over the daily chart now. All right. And we will just look at this firsthand. All right. Literally, this is your Thursday. This is your Friday. You got slammed. You're the Wednesday. It's looking so green. and you rejected the 21, where are we right now? We're at the 21. We just sold off of there. That's literally where we closed at yesterday across the board. But you rejected the 21, and then into the end of the week here, you fell off the cliff. Okay? And you fell 7% down. Well, guys, we just fell, in a pretty similar manner over here. But our weekly candle is still looking quite bullish. Okay? So now we're going to hit you with something else. All right? Close the week out bullish. Probably going to be going higher / trade flat and then go higher. Probably not coming back down to the low. If we do not, and we get slammed tomorrow and we close out with a bearish bar here on the weekly time frame, all right, if this all turns into an upper wick, we somehow close down here around 420. All right, if it happens, then yeah, I'm going to say we probably are just living in times two over here. We're living the COVID crash again. That's what's going on. But then I'll bring you guys over here. Now, these are the times where we were pointing out the NASDAQ had a move just like the one we just saw. This one over here, what happened? You get slammed down into the end of the week and you close out with, not bearish, not bullish bar over here, but it's a whole lot of nothing. It definitely does not look like the bar we have right now here on the weekly time frame of this week's candle. And you come over here during the dot-com bubble burst, when that also happened, you did not close out with a bullish bar. And then the next week, I'll just move that. The next week, you came very close down to the low to start the week off. So I'm just going to tell you right now, you don't know if it's going to come back down to the lows. I don't know if it's going to come back down to the lows. We don't know if it's going to start pushing up off of where we are. We don't know. But the weekly close tomorrow is going to be important, because if we do not close out with the bearish bar here and we close out with that bullish bar, then we are likely not going to have the same reaction that we had the last two times. And again, during the COVID crash, all the way up here, you did not close out with the bullish bar here in the weekly time frame. And I will also just remind everyone that tariffs, besides China, you still got your 145% tariff on you. Which most of the products are probably coming from anyway. But you still got that 145 over there, but everybody else just has the 10%. So a lot of what the market's been selling off on, getting ready for this, okay, and panicked over here. Yeah, the president did a giant pump and dump, done something that's never been done in history, told everyone to buy. Nobody believed him, including myself. I remember seeing this on Twitter. All right, so there's an account on there that posts, what he posts on Truth Social. He posted that it was a good time to buy hours before he ended up giving the exact news that we thought was fake over here, that apparently wasn't fake at all, but he just wanted to wait to release it. All right, so this time could be different is what I'm saying. It could be different. I'm not saying a bottom is in. I'm not saying that it's not in. I'm going to say that weekly close is going to be more important than what we have right now. All right. But I will just remind everyone, even if we're going to come down and make new lows, we're probably not going much lower than where we got like right now, where we already got down to. We're probably not going much lower. So I want you guys to keep this in mind. All right. We're putting together context clues here on this channel. And I know they want to pick a side. They want to be bullish on this dip. They want to be bearish. Okay. I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to get ready for either scenario. And if I see us start taking out that low again, okay, and we see these bullish divergences print on the weekly time frame, we buy with both our freaking fists, okay? That is the plan, all right? Is it a bad plan? It could be. Is it my plan? It is also that, okay? I'm just saying, people think we're getting much more downside, And hey, all right, I'm not shaming you for it, because at the same time, VIX is freaking going bonkers every single day. We got to move all the way back up to 55 and then sold back down to 40 by the close. All right, volatility's off its rocker, okay? But I'm just telling you, with everyone sitting there all bearish, okay, if you in the short term come down to these lows again, probably going to have those weekly bullish divergences, and it is probably going to end up being like the same exact way every other time we got these weekly bullish divergences. you ended up either putting in a base, like your '08 crash over here, you put in your base, okay? And then you traded flat for months. And then you had the mother of all rallies, all right? Or over here, it right away marked the bottom, and then you had a sick, nasty rally, okay? Over here, you died. I don't think we're any, like, people want to relate what's going on to the dot-com bubble. I'm just going to speak my open mind about that. I know for a fact this was a rally strictly driven off euphoria. These companies did not have earnings behind them. There were not mass amounts of employees supporting these companies. They were not, like, you know, yes, there were companies out there, but like the NASDAQ right now is filled with the top companies in the US. These all have earnings. These all maybe not supported at current evaluations, but I'm telling you, we're not going to see this crap. All right. And I could be completely wrong about it. But I'm telling you right now, use your brain. It doesn't make sense to see this crap. It literally does not make sense. We know the volatile market we're in. We know that over here, we didn't have the market that just wanted to go up because of quantitative easing. We just didn't. Okay. And I'm telling you right now, it's a buying opportunity. Okay. We got most of this out the way. We got, if it was a crash, we got most of it out the way. During this intense COVID crash, you bottom with the weekly RSI oversold. So I want you guys just to realize where the heck we are right now. Realize that there are discounts across the board right now. And if you come back down to lows, I need you guys to remember this, because you're going to get the same thing that we had at the lows, where everyone is sitting there thinking it's going to keep falling off a cliff. And then it ends up having the mother of all rallies, two freaking, you know, not 2 days in a row, but one day. And then you had an even bigger one when the news was confirmed not fake 2 days later. All right. Clear as day, buyers want to buy this market. I'm going to point out over here, QQQ, you bounced off your 2021 high. You come over to SPY, you bounce off your 2021 high. If this isn't the bottom, then this down here near 450 is. You want the picture on SPX? You're at the 50% retracement from this whole move up, 2021 high. If that's not the bottom, it's down here. So here on this channel, guys, we're getting ready for both scenarios. We don't care which one we get. We're going to be ready for both of them. But I'm telling you right now, price is just going to push off of this. I think it's probably not going to happen like that. Probably would happen like this. All right, where it takes, like, you know, a few weeks here and frustrates everyone. We just had mass amounts of volatility. We know for a fact the tariffs are coming back. And honestly, even if you get this scenario and it takes like 1 to 2 months to get all the way up here, then the market is probably going to have another freak out about tariffs when they come back in 90 days. Okay. So, you know, I said it in my last video, the market is an absolute master at, you know, forgetting things and then remembering things down the line. I think that's what we have a recipe for. Okay. Now we're going to just go over levels now that I got, you know, the bulk of what I want to, you know, bring to you guys out the way, which is the fact that weekly RSIs are oversold. Okay. And if we do head down to a new low, we're going to have some weekly bullish divergences. And yeah, it's not going to be a time to think the market is just going to sit there crashing. Obviously, fall price action. If you need help trading intraday, I am here. The link is down below. But for the most part, for your swings, okay, you see price back down here. I'm telling you, either this is going to be a major bottom, or we are going to come and start approaching those 0.618 Fibonacci retracements over there on SPY and QQQ. And then, you know, I show you something like Microsoft. Okay. Does this look like a chart that is about to continue falling off a cliff to you? So again, weekly close, I think it's much more important than the crap we're dealing with right now this week. I think the weekly close is extremely important, because if you do get a solid close, you're in the perfect spot here. Buyers took a stand. Weekly RSIs are hinged up off of oversold territory. Throughout all of history, this is where you got big bounces. All right, we're talking .com bubble burst. Okay, I talked about this. Mag 7 stocks like to hold up and perform better than the overall market. So you focus on the Mag 7 stocks during this time. Okay? Right over here. You hit the same spot we're at right now during the dot-com bubble. With, again, less earnings. Okay? Like straight up, no matter what you're going to hear the comparisons that, oh, we're living through another bubble area. I don't think we are. Okay? Maybe things got a little inflated there. But let's be completely real. It is nothing like what happened in the dot-com bubble era. What's happening right now with housing and everything, all right, and, you know, just with what's going on, I'd say it's closer to 08, but I don't think we got a dot-com bubble situation. But even if we did, all right, you buy these signals, and you are up 40 to 50% within a few weeks over here on Microsoft. Now, if you go 30 freaking percent right now, you're at new all-time highs, so I don't think that's going to be the case. It's like from the bottom over here. Yeah, it would be 30% to all-time highs. From where you are right now, no, all right, you only got 20% to go. But my point stands, okay? What we got over here, people just aren't realizing how significant it is that we just got a massive sell-off out the way. And, yeah, whether it takes, you know, a little while to actually put in a bottoming process here, or if we come back down to the lows and, you know, at some point get a V-shaped type of rally going on, yeah, both scenarios lead to bullish price action in the end. They both do here on these larger time frames. So, really want to hammer that one home today, because tomorrow is going to give us our next hint on where we are going next. And if we close out with the bullish bars across the board, guys, do not expect these things to just fall off a cliff the following week. If we close out bullishly, the most you're probably getting is we are going to print some inside bars and then push up off of those. That's where my head is at right now. All right. And at the same time, again, I'll just remind everyone, you know, intraday trading, that is what you're going to want to be doing here. It's not an environment where swings are even being rewarded. I know, even after all this, but if you did not buy in these few days down here, you missed the whole move, because this happened within, like, you know, we're talking 20 minutes. You got most of the move. Okay. It's not an environment for swings right now. It is not. Go over the levels over here on QQ and SPY, and we'll call it a day. All right. On the downside, we'll just come down to the hourly time frame for this. On the downside, you have 443.06. Underneath there, you have 432.63. And then you're going to be watching 423.45, which is where you want to see buyers defend. You want to see them defend right here. I'm going to put this green circle right there. All right. In between 427.70 and 423.45. You want to see buyers defend there, because if they don't defend there, all right, then you have risk of coming back down to the lows. You don't want that. On the upside, we have 451.73 above there, 459.17. You know what? We're taking out this level, all right? We're just going to make it, yeah, we're going to make it right over there. All right, so on the upside, we are going to have 450.82. Get above there, we're talking 459.17, 466.43, 472.91. Coming over here to SPY. All right, SPY. Can't believe that. I still can't believe that happened. You had a bullish setup before it happened on the smaller time frames. I'm just mind blown that this move actually occurred. I really am. I really am. You had bull flags. Like, the market knew it was going to come before it came. Let's just be real about that. You had bull flags sitting down here on the 15-minute time frame, and then it broke out, then it pulled back and consolidated, and then it absolutely ripped freaking faces. Yeah, I mean, market participants 100% knew it was going to happen. I mean, I'm not saying like everyone, because obviously you had this massive move, but yeah, I mean, Trump literally went on Truth Social and told everyone that it's a good time to buy. I don't think anybody like me, you know, took it seriously, but in reality, holy sweet baby Jesus, he actually pumped the stock market. He did a pump and dump that people get arrested for, and he's the president and did it for everyone. I'm just mind blown. Like, is it unfair because he told everyone? Honest, I don't know. I don't know. All right, but on the upside over here on SPY, we have 425.87 above there. We have 429.71. I was just saying 4, all right? So 525.87. Above there, 529.71. Above there, 536.70. And then we have 549.68. On the downside, if you lose 518.36, you can see this is where buyers reclaimed today, and they flipped into support. All right. If you lose 518.36, we're going to revisit today's low near 510.27 support. If you get back down there, I don't think you're going to hold. Just my opinion, all right? You come back down here tomorrow, I imagine you're going to fade here. I imagine you're going to get a little bounce here. You're going to get buyers stepping in because they stepped in over here. We still got orders down there. I have a feeling they're going to fade pretty quick, and we're going to be coming back down. It's my opinion. All right. Underneath 510.27, you have 505.89. And underneath there, guys, we are coming back down to the lows. We're watching 480. Okay. That is SPY and QQQ over there. We will quickly go over the Mag 7 stocks. You know, I'll just point out again with these weekly candles, guys, like these aren't typically candles that are going to be leading to immediate more downside. It's just not usually how that goes. We usually are going to see at least another week of upside following these types of closes. All right. If not, you know, you build out. This is the scenario I was talking about where you can go, you know, sideways, build out that base and then launch off of it. All right. Like these just aren't candles that lead to bearish outcomes. So, you know, keep these in mind. I know everyone wants to get bearish and think the market's come back down to lows. You got to be open to price just kind of digesting the move that just happened. And then we get this choppy, you know, price action going on. And then maybe, you know, in May, we push up or something like that. Okay. Keep your mind open right now. Keep the mind open. But over here on the video, guys, you can see what I see. All right. You print an inside bar. You close out near the highs with a hammer candlestick, pin bar candlestick, whatever you want to call this thing. All right. It's not exactly the most bearish look here. Come down to the hourly time frame. If you could break above 108.94, we're talking 113.22 above there, 122.89. All right, so we'll just come back over to the daily time frame. You can see if you start getting above here, okay, you don't have anything in between here and up at 122.89. So if you can push up, which I don't think that would just happen tomorrow, it can happen, but I really don't think that's how this is going to end up playing out. I think the market's going to take some time digesting these moves. All right, but yeah, above 113.22, we're talking 122.89. On the downside, come down back to the hourly time frame. If you can't hold 104.77, all right, you're gonna have today's low over here at 103.01, and then under there, okay, you're gonna have 195. And if you don't hold here, timber. Okay, big spot here, timber. If you can't hold 195. All right, so that's the video over here at Tesla. I'm just gonna say I don't know how the heck this thing is really gonna, you know, play out here, but I don't think anybody could really convinced me that this isn't an insanely bullish setup. And down here is when we had the most fear possible. And yeah, it's coming together in this constructive manner. Let's see what happens. But if you take out $300, the thing goes flying. Okay. Over 300, the thing goes flying. Just look at how this weekly chart looks, though. This is, you know, something that doesn't sit well with my stomach. All right, like this is not a chart that gives me good vibes over here. This is a chart that, you know, it's got weak structure at the bottom. This isn't typically what we see bottoms build out off of. You typically are going to, you know, see a little base action going on, maybe a flush, and then a quick recovery, and then another base, and then you push off over there. Or, you know, you have these few weeks of basing, and then you push off of that. Right over here, guys, you know, you have a sloppy, like real ugly double bottom look to you. But I just, you know, anybody who has FOMO on this name or anyone, any name in the market right now, I'm just going to, you know, ask you to think like this. All right. Just take a step back. Look at this chart I'm showing you here. Let's just bring out the arrows. All the life-changing money opportunities where you just had an uptrend to follow along with. All right. They all came when price got above the 21 EMA, this big spike above the 21 EMA. You even came back to retest it multiple times here, here, and here. You're going to have your opportunities. In order to see something like this develop, a bigger push here, you're going to break above $300. That's where the 21 EMA is. That's where our key resistance is there. You're going to break above $300. You're probably even going to come back down to retest it. Like anybody who has FOMO on these names, I don't want you to wreck yourself in this market. All right. Maybe you lost some money on the way down when the market was, you know, straight cliff diving. But, you know, damage control, guys, you got no reason. Like this market is trying to take everyone's money. It's going back and forth every day. It's very volatile. Do not play into its game. Do not. Okay, there will be a time. I told you guys in the, it was not yesterday's video, the day before that. There will be a time when it's clear as day. The market is back to, trending upward. We are going to have good times. Right now, these charts to flip back to bullish, they need to do a lot of structure building. That can take weeks to months. That is not a reason to sit there FOMOing into anything because you want to buy falling knives. Just my opinion. All right. But literally all of these moves, okay, they take place above the 21 EMA. Right here, above the 21. Right here, you had a few weeks above the 21. But, again, you had this giant base that built up, and it's very obvious when you start pushing off of it. We don't have that right now. And in order to have this be your base and for you to start pushing off of it, you got to break above 300 bucks. And that's really not something that's looking likely right now. All right. These big impulsive moves, I'm telling you, above the 21 EMA here on the weekly time frame, that's when you're going to see them happen. Okay. Now when price is underneath it, I know we can't really even see price over here, but you could see price got underneath it. Maybe you avoided it for a few, weeks here. And then boom, it got back above it. All right. And it just kept pulling back to your short-term moving averages and riding them higher. Please do not have FOMO for your own good. Do not sit there just panicking over, trying to buy this and getting chopped up in this crap. It's not worth the stress. Okay. So just, again, if you're worried about missing a big move over here on Tesla or any of these stocks that we go over daily on this channel, just know you're not missing anything. Things take time to develop anyway. Trade the intraday price action you have right now. There will be swing setups that are coming. All right. Specifically over here on Goog, it's looking really nice. All right. But again, we're going to know when these things are actually starting to move, and it's not right now. Right now, you just got your sign of strength from buyers over here, and you still look like you could just consolidate and base out before moving up. You're right here at the 21 EMA. You got this parallel descending channel. If you can break above 163.24, you're going to be above the 21 right here. And from that point, you're probably going to push 170 plus real quick. All right. And, you're probably going to get up into the upper half of this channel over here, which is all the way up around 180. All right. But until that happens, until we break above 163.24, you really got no reason to, have that FOMO. You don't. The setup is there. What if the thing gets slammed back down right now and comes back down here, makes a new low, and you bought right here, it does that? Okay. You're going to be a really sad man or woman. I just know most of the people watching the channel are men. We got some women out there in the audience too. All right. No FOMO, guys. It's not worth having it right now. I will guide you through this market the best I can, week after week. All right. And I told you I would let you know when the time is here. And, the tariff thing that just happened, I was vocal about in yesterday's video. Options. If you are an options trader like me, I'm telling you, this market, you can make money on the options. But I'm telling you, they are so freaking juiced. Okay? The premiums are just so juiced across the board after we're getting all these big moves, especially after yesterday. You kind of got no business, you got no business going into them after the move like yesterday. Okay? Let them settle out. Let the volatility return back to normal. And then not only do you have the trade set up, but you also have options that are not juiced out the freaking butt. Okay? That is Goog over there. We're going to come over here to Meta. You also got this trend line here we're watching. If you could break above here on Meta, 592.66, that's when you're probably going to start that larger move that's going to be above your 21 over here. Like we just pointed out, good things happen above the 21, weekly and daily time frame. Okay? You're underneath it. Oh, you just stayed underneath it for the next week and a half. Oh, you reclaimed it and you started pushing. Okay? Oh, you got underneath it. Okay? You danced around it and then you started pushing. I'm telling you, when things are underneath it, bad things typically happen. So you got no reason to be buying in as if good things are about to happen when we haven't been proven by price over here that good things are about to happen. Okay? That's Meta. Come over here. We already talked Microsoft. Amazon. All right. Everything kind of has the same, look to it. We had a massive impulsive move. We're now seeing the market digest that move. I talked about this in yesterday's video. I pointed out as an opportunity. And yes, call premiums. If you were, looking to be a buyer of options today on the long side, the long premiums, the call premiums, they got freaking crushed. All right. It is up to you to make that decision. Like, do you deem this a buying opportunity or not? I was very vocal this whole video about my opinion on that. I am, just choosing to, just sit back and wait for, something easier to trade over here on the long side. You don't have a reason to take a stab at it right now if, there's a 50% probability that you end up coming back down. You just don't. All right. It's not an uptrend. It's right where it's going to get rejected. If it is going to get rejected, you got no business going long on that thing right into resistance. You just don't. Just wait for something more constructive to pop up. Promise, we're going to get it. All right. But on the downside over here, watching 178.14, we'll come down to the hourly time frame. 178.14. Give my magnet. All right. 178.14 underneath there. You have 175.85, 171.16, and 166.32. On the upside, 184.40, 188.65, 192.65. All right. And we're going to finish up over here with our boy Apple. All right. Our boy Apple, guys. Got the same exact look to everything else. And I'm just going to tell you, big level over here at 200. All right. If you could push up to 200 and you could break there and you break that 201.25 gap we got right there. Okay. You know what? We're going to change our level. If you could break above the high from yesterday, 261. All right. You're probably going to start that larger move. That is very clearly a spot here that has been respected through time. You break above it, good things can happen. But then you also have the 21. So above 261, we're going to look for the move to 2842. Expect rejection there. That's where you broke down from and where that 21 is. But if price just takes time consolidating here and then pushes up, then this thing is going to be more like down here. But yeah, 208.42 and then 216.23 and then 225.62. Guys, price was consolidating in this range for a year. All right. Once this thing does push back above here and is out of this range, it goes back to probably retest the bottom of this range. A very clear spot that I'm seeing. Touch point, a bunch of touch points here. All right. It's going to be right over here around 220. So you reclaim 200. You got 220 on the table. But again, no FOMO on these names, guys. I'm telling you, they could be a lot more constructive here. We do not have structure that suggests bottom. If it's a V-shaped type of rally here, let's see if we could take out the highs that we just put in yesterday. Let's see if it happens. Go from there. And that's really it. All right, guys. So with that being said, I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I know everyone's not going to enjoy the videos because we get some dislikes every video. That's okay. That is okay. I can't please everyone, but I do my best to please as many people as possible out there. So if that is you and you are enjoying the TA, please remember to leave a like. I would definitely appreciate it. And I appreciate you guys, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.